Hello dear students, I hope all of you are fine. Welcome back to your chemistry class. Students, this is your syllabus for September test. Chapter 1 Matter and its composition, Chapter 2 Physical and chemical changes, and Chapter 3 Elements, compounds and mixtures, which we are doing now. So let's start from where we have left. Page number 22, Types of mixtures. Mixtures are usually classified on the basis of the state of the components. There are states like solid, liquid, gases, right? So mixture can be described on the basis of these states. If two or more solid mixtures are there, it will be a solid mixture. If two or more liquids are there, it will be a liquid mixture. If two or more gases are there, then it will be a gaseous mixture. Besides, there can be solid liquid, solid gas and liquid gas mixtures too. We will see these examples afterwards. A mixture can be homogeneous or heterogeneous as described below. Firstly, homogeneous. What is an homogeneous mixture? A mixture which has the same composition and properties throughout is said to be homogeneous. Example, a sugar solution has the same proportion of sugar and water and the same taste in every part of it. So it is a homogeneous mixture. You will not be able to see separately or distinguish between the different components of a homogeneous mixture. So it is saying that a sugar solution will taste same in every part of it, right? We can't say that this is sugar, in this part only sugar is coming and this part only water is coming. No. So it will be a homogeneous mixture. How is it different from heterogeneous? Heterogeneous mixture, when different parts of a mixture have different compositions and properties, it is said to be heterogeneous. That different parts, you can see it from the examples which are given on the right side. Heterogeneous mixture ki example, salad, fruit salad, milk and cereals. So firstly take salad. If we are having different components, maybe there is tomato, onions, okay, all of these things are there. So we can get all of them differently, right? We can take onions on the one side, tomatoes on the one side, we can distinguish them, right? So it is not a homogeneous mixture, it is a heterogeneous mixture. That mixtures which have different composition and properties which form a mixture, but it is not mixing properly, we can distinguish them. So here they are giving us example of heterogeneous mixture. If you mix some salt with pepper, one part of a mixture can contain more salt than pepper and other more pepper than salt. The taste of the mixture will also vary accordingly. Thus, a salt-pepper mixture is heterogeneous. You will be able to see the different components of a heterogeneous mixture separately and distinguish between them, as we have seen in the earlier example also, right? So in the table 3.1, various kinds of mixture along with examples are given to you. First type is solid. Example, homogeneous and heterogeneous both are given. Firstly, homogeneous is all alloys. Example, brass, copper plus zinc, steel, iron plus carbon plus manganese, and stainless steel, iron plus chromium plus nickel. Heterogeneous, rice plus stone, sand plus salt, salt plus pepper, chalk plus sugar. So all the examples are given to you. Go through them. So our next topic is separating the components of mixtures. Mixtures are impure substances, hence in order to obtain a pure or a desirable substance or to remove an undesirable substance from a mixture, we often need to separate the components of a mixture. Mixture can be homogeneous or heterogeneous, right? As we have seen. But we can also separate a homogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous, we have seen that it can be separated because its component can be distinguished. But a homogeneous mixture can also be separated. We will see how. So, it is only by doing so that we obtain common salt from seawater, petrol, diesel and kerosene from crude oil and drinking water from ordinary water. To separate the components of a mixture, we take advantage of their characteristic properties like color, size, shape, etc. Right? For example, to match a blue shirt, you can separate blue buttons from an assortment of buttons of different colors, right? From a mixture of salt and sand, you can obtain salt by dissolving it out in water. This process we will see. So you just read it over here. We will see how it works. First method is magnetic separation. As you have learnt in the previous class, a magnet attracts iron. If you move a magnet through a mixture of iron fillings and chalk, the iron particles attach themselves to the magnet. Chalk is not attracted by a magnet, so its particles are left behind. You can see it. I have attached a video for your reference so that it is more clear to you. A mixture of iron and chalk is separated in this fashion. A method such as this, in which a magnet is used to separate the components of a mixture, is called magnetic separation. So what is magnetic separation? In which a magnet is used to to separate a particle from the mixture. And magnet attracts iron, so of course we will be separating iron from a mixture. So our next method is evaporation. This method is used for separating a solid from its solution. Example, salt from its aqueous solution. The solution is taken in a china dish and the dish is placed over a flame. The water slowly evaporates, leaving back the salt as residue. So what is happening is a salt and water mixture is given. Okay, we have to separate salt from water. So how can we do it? We can use the process of evaporation. What will happen in it is that when we heat that solution in a china dish, water will evaporate, leaving behind only salt. So we can separate salt from water using evaporation method. Crystallization. While evaporating a solution, a stage comes when the amount of solvent becomes very little. This solution is called a concentrated solution. When the solvent is left in very little amount, that solution will be called concentrated solution. When it is allowed to cool slowly, crystals of the substance dissolved start separating. The substance which we have dissolved in it, it will be formed in the form of crystals. It will separate from it in the form of crystals. The process is called crystallization. It is used to obtain the substance in the pure state. That state, the form, the crystals which are forming of that substance, is the pure state of that substance. You can also see the image which I have attached over here, how crystals are forming. Obtaining common salt from seawater. The method is used on a large scale to obtain common salt from seawater. As you know, seawater contains salt. Everybody knows, right, that seawater contains salt. So we can call it a salt solution. Seawater is collected in shallow pits dug on the seashore, as they have shown in the image. The heat of the sun makes the water evaporate. We have seen the process of evaporation, right? So, the heat of the sun makes the water evaporate. When enough water has evaporated, the solution becomes concentrated. Then the salt begins to crystallize. So, here firstly, two things are happening. Firstly, the process of evaporation, and secondly, the process of crystallization. The salt is further purified and mixed with a chemical called sodium iodate. Underline this point and always remember which chemical is used. It is sodium iodate. This mixture is iodized table salt. Sodium iodate contains iodine. The lack of iodine in our diet may cause the disease goiter. I have attached this image for your reference. Here you can see how iodine deficiency leads to the formation of goiter. Here, dissolving out salt from a salt side mixture. This image is taken from your book. You can see it in your book. Thank you, dear students. See you in the next video.